This is about how to apply the law of attraction in your life to manifest more of those green things we call money. Hence the green color on the wall here today. I figured that the color would be matching with the topic. Most people want these. As you see, these are $1 million bill. I had them printed because I realized, why not? It's a good little reminder to myself to keep manifesting more. But governments across the world are just printing more money. So I figured, why don't I do that? So these are real magic money. Of course, that's not what we're talking about, but this is just another representation of money. People think that these paper bills is money. It's not. It's paper with an idea printed on them. And today we're talking about that idea and how we can create more in our life. The law of attraction is working for all of us. It's always an effect. The question is, what are we bringing into our life? And that is always a direct reflection of our state. And we'll get into that today. You'll also learn how to specifically think and act around the topic called money, if that's what you want to manifest more of. It's something that means a lot to a lot of people, but for some reason, they just never get very good at it. You can have a master's in economics and be broke. How does that happen? Because people don't understand these as at a basic fundamental level. First of all, we have to understand that the law of attraction, like I said, works for all of us. It always works. Somebody said the other day, how do I manifest? Well, you're already manifesting. The question is, what are you manifesting? The primary law of the universe, the law of vibration, decrees that everything vibrates, nothing rests, and that everything is in a constant state of change. And you can only attract to you what you are vibrating with. So your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions, they have to be aligned in order to create more, in order for the universe to have something to respond to. And so I remember when I met Bob Proctor the first time, and he asked me how much I'd ever earned in a year. He said, I don't care what the number is, Anders, but you have to tell me. It shows me how you're programmed. And it was so uncomfortable telling him that I never earned more than $40,000 a year in the entertainment industry all throughout my life. And he said, it doesn't matter what you've done. Your income has very little to do with what you have done. It has more to do with how you've done it. I'm like, that makes sense. And he said, what would you love? And I said, financial freedom. He said, that's not an answer. What specifically would you want? And he said, if anything is possible, how would it feel like for you to turn your annual income into your monthly income? And I said, I don't know how to answer the question. He said, that's not uncommon. Most people aren't able to. How would you answer that question? If you had turned your annual income into your monthly income, how would that feel? I couldn't answer it because it never dawned on me that I could have had that reality. There was no state to anchor to. There was no pictures, no mental images to anchor that idea to. But Bob said, if you do exactly what I'm telling you, Anders, you can turn your annual income into your monthly income, and it doesn't have to take long. I had 20 years of mediocre financial results. I was always just getting by, always a step behind, it felt like. But I did exactly like Bob told me. And 11 months later, I had earned $750,000. That's a 23-fold increase in 11 months. If somebody had told me earlier that that was going to be my reality, I wouldn't have believed them. But I learned something really valuable about money. And that is, it comes into your life by law and not by accident. Once I learned this one secret, this one idea, everything started to shift and it kept changing. And I'll share that, what that secret is or that insight is in a moment. But first, remember the number one mistake people make when it comes to manifesting more money is they focus on this. They focus on the money. They focus on the expressed effect of what we call money. That's a mistake. There's a law of cause and effect at play in everything that we do. And instead of focusing on the effect, focus on the main cause. That was the number one mistake for me in all those years. I just want more money. I just want more money. And you have all these people saying, I just need more money. They're focused on the wrong thing. There's a law of cause and effect. What you should decide on is how much money you want. And then you should get really productive and focused on in manifesting the opportunity to earn the money. So what does that mean? What I did in increasing my income 11 times over in a year was I increased my service 11 times over. People say, well, I just need the money. Well, that might be true that you need that. But how productive are you? How valuable are you to your employer, to the one that pays your salary? How valuable are you to your fellow human beings? Because your income is a direct reflection of your value to the world. And so, what Bob taught me was how to become more valuable in the marketplace of ideas, in the marketplace of service. And when I decided to focus, to set the goal, yes, but then sort of forgetting about it and just go to work on the main cause of service, then you can focus on that main cause and keep attracting opportunities to provide more service to a point where that service matches the output that you seek, which we call money. Money is an idea. True abundance is the ideas that you can download and transfer to physical actions and service to the people around you. So that's the number one mistake. People focus on the money, they don't focus on the main cause. They don't focus on getting more valuable, becoming the person who can do the thing. I heard this story. It was Mary Morrissey, one of Bob Proctor's good friends, and she's also a teacher. And she told this story of a man that got on stage. It was a prosperity event. And he took out a large chunk of bills and he started kissing them. He was like, I just love you guys. And Mary was like, oh, that's disgusting. That's like, oh, that doesn't sit right. And the guy asked, how many felt uncomfortable in this moment? And most people were like, yeah, that was pretty gross. And he said, what if I had held a baby in my arms and I had kissed that baby? I just love you so much. Would you have felt the same way? People were like, no. Exactly. If you don't honor an idea, you'll repel it. Money is just an idea. It is what you make of it. But we have all these paradigms around it. When you hear the word money, what is your first thought? Oh my gosh, can't pay the bill. That was me for years and years, always $500 short. Do you get excited to talk about the subject? You know, what I realized is people with more money are very comfortable talking about money. They're comfortable talking about ideas that surrounds money, whereas people that are poor and broke and stuck, money's not everything is one of the lies that they keep talking about. It was never meant to be anything, everything. So it's a stupid thing to keep repeating, regurgitating. Usually it's the people that work 8, 9 hours a day for it that tells the world that it doesn't matter, that it's not important. And here they are selling 1/3 of their life for it. It's nuts. It's absolutely cray cray. But that's where a lot of people live. There's all these wrongful ways of thinking when it comes to that. People with money can only have money problems. For a lot of people, it's the lack of money that's their problem. It's not, I thought if I just learn how to earn more money, all problems go away. They didn't. They just got magnified by 10. Back then, it was a $500 problem. Now it's maybe a $50,000 problem or a $100,000 problem. It never ends, and that's fun. It's just energy, and you should look at yourself as a terminal for that energy to flow to and through. So there's a common limiting belief about money, and one of them is time is money. Is the worst lie that got perpetrated on us. Or money's hard to earn, it's hard to keep. And whatever you believe is reflected in your objective reality, also in your financial state. So there's one specific limiting belief that I believe almost every person has when it comes to money. And we'll get into that in a moment. But first, let me reveal the secret to you that I mentioned earlier. We should focus on service and not attach yourself to the outcome and the effect. That is the number one secret. Don't get attached to the effect. Focus on the main cause. The effect will take care of itself. Money is earned through valuable service. The people that say, I'm just manifesting $1 million, they hope and they pray and they join the lottery and they go to Vegas and gamble. When it comes fast, it leaves fast. Trust me, I've been there. If you manifest a quick lottery win, it leaves just as fast in most people's cases. And it's actually, you could look at most lottery winners, they're miserable. Again, a few short years later. On the other hand, when you earn the money, when you become more valuable and you actually earn the money, you circulate it. Some of it stays, some of it goes into investments, and most of it is used to provide even better service. It's really only meant for two things. One, it makes your life more comfortable. Two, it enables you to render service way beyond your own personal reach. When we do our live events, when we do our virtual events, it costs a lot of money. What are some practical things we can do to manifest more of those green things we call money, which is just an energy in motion. First thing, you have to be very clear about what you want. You have to be very clear about your financial goals. More money, I hear that all the time. I want financial freedom. That's not a goal. That's a general life circumstance that most people, it's a hope that they die with because they never got clear about it. And then you say, well, Anders, you just told me earlier I shouldn't be clear about my goal. That's not what I said. I said, get very specific about what you want. Then you focus on the main cause, which is service. You're peripherally aware of where you're going and the output and the effect, which is the goal you've set. But you get really busy providing valuable service. So vague goals lead to vague results. But Proctor always said, fuzzy goals becomes hard to hit. And it's so true. You need to get very clear about how much you want and why. Why is this important? I hear people say, well, then I just want $30 million in the account next month. They're not serious about it. They don't even take themselves in the process seriously. Earl Nightingale said it beautifully. He said, most people want more than they really need, and they end up settling for a lot less than they could get if they went about it the wrong way, the right way. And so, what's the right way? The right way is to sit down and make a dream budget. How would I love to live? How would I love to drive? How would I love to? What kind of clothes would I love to wear? What would I love to give to charity partners, to causes that are very near and dear to me? We've helped thousands of kids with food that normally wouldn't get enough to eat. Makes me feel like the richest man on the planet. I know we've helped a lot of children. Makes me feel so good. You see, abundance is in what you give, it's not in what you get. That's one of the biggest misconceptions, too. And then you need to visualize the effect, of course, but don't just visualize a bill with a number on it. Visualize what you can do with it. That is going to have a much more profound effect on you than a number itself. I hear that a lot. I can't get emotionally involved in a number. I hear you. I'm the same way, but I can get emotionally involved in all the kids we can help feed, in all the clients we can reach, in all the transformations we can create, in the freedom, in the trips, in all the great experiences that are to be had here on the physical plane. That I can get emotionally involved in. So you need to amp up your visualization and actually use your mental tools. But visualization is just not enough. And there's something more you have to do for this to really work effectively for you. And I'll share that in a moment. But first, I'm going to reveal that limiting belief that I believe people have the most, the number one limiting belief. And that's, most people don't feel they're worthy. They don't feel they're worthy of wealth. And I think that's what keeps it from entering most people's lives. One affirmation I've used a lot that helped me in the beginning was, I deserve the money I earn and I invest it wisely. I, for the majority of my life, never had more than debt, because I didn't think I deserved wealth. So as soon as I could do it, I racked up more debt. So you want to utilize these affirmations to rewrite the story, your money story. A good friend of mine, she's a wonderful soul. She teaches money narratives. One thing she taught me about money, instead of saying I spend money, tell yourself you enjoy it. Instead of saying I save for a rainy day. No. If you're expecting a rainy day, trust me, it'll show up. Grow money for your personal freedom. And so changing that story about what it means also will help you a lot. And using those affirmations to reinforce your worthiness and wealth. Another good affirmation Bob taught me years ago is, money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on an ongoing basis. I'm so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on an ongoing basis. That's a really good one. Sometimes your subjective mind will not accept full sentences because you're so programmed with the opposite that there will be a rejection on a conscious level almost immediately. It will feel like a lie. So what you can do is bypass the conscious level and just use simple keywords like, I'm confidence, I'm prosperity, I'm power, I'm success. I'm confidence, I'm prosperity, I'm power, I'm success. It'll be a little easier for your subjective mind. And these, by the way, are words out of Robert Russell's great book, You Too Can Be Prosperous, which is phenomenal. But Dr. Joseph Murphy talks about this concept as well in The Power of Your Subjective Mind, which, I've studied for, well, going on 17 years now. Like, this is my version of the book. There's, the pages are falling out. Our little dogs have had their teeth in the pages, as you can tell. Hopefully, they got some good value out of it. But one thing that Joseph Murphy points out too is the same issue. Sometimes your subjective mind or your conscious mind will reject the ideas before it can become an integrated part of your personality because it's in such contradiction. So use keywords. I'm prosperous. I'm wealthy. I'm happy. I'm healthy. I'm prosperous. I'm wealthy. Like, or you can just use the word itself. I'm abundance. If you tell yourself, I'm abundance, I'm prosperous, or I am prosperity 100 times in a row, eventually that idea will sink deep into your subjective mind. And what's really important as well is to stay in a high vibration state. You want to stay magnified to these ideas. Nothing does that better than gratitude and generosity. And people think generosity means just throwing a lot of money away frivolously. That's not what it is. Generosity can be generous with time, ideas, advice, not only money. I remember once in a long time ago, it feels like a long time ago. It wasn't really, but it was back in 2016. And I had left the entertainment industry and I was struggling. It wasn't going very well, to say the least. And I couldn't pay rent. And at the same token, I knew I had to get my hands dirty in something that was meaningful. So I started volunteering with Three Square Food Bank, and which is the organization we support today. And I helped pack 15,000 meals for school children that morning, along with another group of volunteers. Of course, there were many of us. But I remember how I felt when I learned that I had helped feed 15,000 kids. I felt like the richest man in the world. I didn't have enough in the account to pay my rent, but just that feeling of being of service, of being significant. The next day, I receive a message on LinkedIn. Nobody back then certainly wrote to me on LinkedIn, but this organization did. And they wanted to hire me as a speaker to speak at their conference in Las Vegas. And they asked me, what do you charge? And I had worked on my self-image. I had worked on becoming on being a prosperous, successful speaker. And my goal was to earn $10,000 on my first paid speech. And I had worked on my skill set, on my mindset, on my tool set for a while. So I knew I was worth that. I'd been in front of the mirror 8 hours a day for a long time. And they asked me about my pricing. And I said, I wanted to earn $10,000 for a speech. And I said, I said to myself, if I just tell them $14,000, there's some wiggle room for negotiation. So I said $14,000 and they were like, okay, you're hired. And I'm like, what? The day before I couldn't pay rent, and here I am earning more in 45 minutes on stage than I otherwise would have earned in 4, 5, 6 months of hard work. So I know for a fact that I received that opportunity because I had become a prosperous person the day before by providing, by becoming more, by utilizing my time. You see, if you can't donate your money, don't worry about that. That's an expression of an energy on a physical plane. It's even better to start with your ideas, start with your energy, start with your time. There's so much you can give. People think it's just about the money. It's not. In fact, it's not about the money. My great friend Bob Proctor wrote a book with that title. It's not about the money. So if you can't give on a physical plane, give with your ideas, give with your time, give with your advice. There's so much you can give. Become a generous person, become a person of increase. Then everything starts to shift. There's a quick and easy way to stay consistent with these techniques, and I'll reveal that to you shortly. I'm on day 2119 today. And I'll reveal to you in a moment what that is. But first, I talked about earlier what that extra element was to really speed up the process here. And that is that action is the key. You need to take aligned action. And what does that mean? That means your thinking, your feeling state, and your action state aligns. So you're visualizing the outcome, you feel anchored in that state, and then you act from where you are with what you have. You might not be able to do the whole thing, but then put a deposit down. Invest the time, get good at one thing, become masterful at one thing. Just start executing, start taking action on the idea. And you have to be willing to take risks here. I became a risk taker when I started understanding these concepts, because you cannot in any good conscience think that you'll be manifesting much more than you are now by staying in the same behavioral pattern. It is self-deceit. You're just wasting your time. And you have to be willing to take risk, and you have to become a person that becomes more, that provides more value to the world. Your income is in relation to three things. One, the need for what you do. Is there a need for what you do? Probably. You didn't create the need, it was already there. How good are you at filling the need? That's where most people fault. They are not staying consistent with one thing until they become really good at filling the need. So they wander off to some other gold pot under the rainbow, never really achieving anything out of any significance. But when you stay with number two, your skill set, becoming a master at what you do, become so good at what you do that people can't ignore you. That makes number three take care of itself, the ability to replace you, or how easy it is to replace you. You become harder and harder to replace. That means your value goes up. That if you're working with a team, if you're in a business, if you're working for a business, you can just keep increasing your skill set, become better and better and better, and the company will have to pay you more. If you want a 10x increase in your salary, 10x your service. That doesn't mean you have to run faster. You just have to provide service at a higher level. You have to increase your skill set. If you're an entrepreneur, same thing applies. You just have to take more risk as an entrepreneur. That's the difference. Is the opportunity there for the same kind of income? Sure. Find ways to provide more service. One of my friends posted the other day that in Denmark, where I'm from, 43% of the people are depending on the government for their income. That is nuts. 43%. That is almost half who are depending on something or someone outside of them. That is a dependent mindset. That's not a contributing mindset. The contributing mindset would look for ways to serve their fellow human beings. That's why they attract more opportunities and create more and earn more. So let's go from a receiver to a contributor, first and foremost, in our mindset. That's when things start to shift. So we can ignore these things. We can keep going on the way we have been going on, or we can start to bring our mindset in harmony with these ideas. Thinking about money is the effect. Focus on the main cause. If you focus on the effect, the results will stay the same. If you focus on becoming more, by attracting more opportunities to you that will enable you to provide service at a higher level, you will receive the effect. You cannot not receive the effect. You can't hold it from your doorstep, even if you tried. One thing I learned is that true abundance is your ability to receive ideas and execute on them. That's abundance. You have an abundant source within yourself that is always there to provide you with ideas that when you turn those ideas over to your subjective mind and you execute on them, they'll have value to the rest of the world. The quickest and easiest way to stay consistent, it's really starting your day and ending your day with gratitude. Gratitude, like Wallace Wattles says, hooks you up to your source of supply. It is the one thing that adjusts your mind to be in more harmony with that abundant source. So gratitude, an attitude of gratitude, hooks you up to your source of supply. It sets a tone for your vibration, it keeps you aligned, and it keeps you in harmony with the source of where those ideas come from. Abundance is not in the account. Most people think that money is in the account, that that's where the money is, or it's in the bank. It's a wrongful way of thinking. Money is an expressed effect. The main cause is in here. You already have access to it. As someone who's turned their annual income into their monthly income multiple times over, I didn't know how to do this in the beginning, but I took aligned action from where I was with what I had. Did it take risk? Absolutely. Did it take courage? Yes. Was people around me, were they in harmony with the idea? Did they agree? No, they did not. People thought I had lost my mind, and that's okay. They will not understand you as long as they can respect you. And if they can't, they just don't belong in your circle. That's it. But you have to take aligned action. You absolutely have to. When we manifested our dream home here in Miami, beautiful multi-million dollar home, I didn't know how to do that, but I took the first step. I went down here some years ago now with our great real estate agent, Patricia, went out, had her take some photos of me on the balcony, manifested that, brought that into my reality, signed the contract when we had decided to purchase this place. But we signed the contract having no earthly idea of how to pull this through. But I knew by signing the contract, it would be a commitment to my subjective mind that then went to work on my behalf. And then that's how we manifested our dream home. That's how everything comes into our life from the frequency. What are you committing yourself to? What goals do you have and what are you committed to manifesting? This is your life we're talking about. Don't treat this like a practice run, You're way too valuable. And if you're ready to speed up your manifestations, make sure you take aligned action. Again, keep taking aligned action. One of the ways you can do that is by bringing a professional perspective into your life by meeting with one of our results specialists. They're extraordinarily great at what they do. They will help you get clarity on your goals, uncover those obstacles, those blocks that you might have subjectively that cause you to not move ahead and not create what you want. And they will help you with a plan and a path forward. And there's a link here in the description where you can apply for one of those calls. Trust me, they're completely free, and you will find that you will get a perspective on yourself that you probably didn't have before. And with that new awareness, you can take new aligned actions, and you will speed up your manifestation and your results so much quicker. Thank you so much for watching this video. I have linked to a couple more right here that I think you would like. Now, until next time, it's not who you are that holds you back, it's all the illusions of who you think you're not. This is Anders Hansen. Thank you.